Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of This Week in Comics. My name is Yule. I own Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California, and every week we run down books that I'm looking forward to, and the top 5 that we sold last week. When there are 5 Wednesdays in a month, we call that a 5th week event here at the store. That usually means there's going to be annuals and one-shots, and this week was no different. Let's see what was in the top 5. At number 5 this week, we have Hunt for Wolverine, Dead Ends. This is a one-shot that follows all those miniseries we were just reading. Settling in at number 4, we have Marvel 2-in-1 number 9. Chip Zdarsky keeps rolling. Coming in at number 3, we have Runaways number 12. I think this is the end of the storyline. Taking the runner-up spot this week at number 2, we have Ms. Marvel number 33, which means the top spot this week is the crown jewel in the Marvel top 5 this week. X-Men Grand Design Second Genesis number 2. This ends this storyline, and I cannot wait for the next one to come.
Here are some stuff.
No, here's some stuff I read this week.
Certainly not what I
It's
heard.
here's, I said. Here's, I said, some books I read this week. Extermination number 2 came out this week. This is a 5-issue miniseries written by Ed Brisson and art by Pepe Larraz. This tells the story about the 5 original X-Men that are time displaced in our time. And there are some people hunting them down, trying to kill them, send them back, something like that. First up, the art is really good. I like Pepe Larraz. He does a pretty darn good job, even though there is some lack of inking going on in this comic book. I don't know when this started, but I really can't stand it. It feels very computery. The coloring is good, but it's just so good. It looks like everything else on the rack. As usual with an X-Men event, something is going on and they all gotta meet in the mansion. There's all sorts of people involved, but mostly it is about the 5 X-Men, again, that are time displaced. And Kitty and the other leaders of the X-Men are like, hey, we gotta split these fools up so that they can't be captured by young Cable and Ahab that is going around hunting them down for whatever reason. I like the issue all right. It was pretty good. Again, I'm gonna say it again, the artwork was good, but there's this scene in here, and I gotta really point it out because this is something that happens every once in a while, and you gotta wonder, like, what is going on with Marvel editorial when Cyclops shoots a beam into a forest and has trees burning as a result? His eye beams are concussive blasts. Whatever the hell that means, it means it doesn't blow trees up and cause them to catch fire. That's what it means. They are not heat beams. Cyclops doesn't shoot heat beams. Get that through your minds. I can't stand when I see that stuff going on. Unless there was a storyline that changed this and I don't realize it, I made a mistake. Anyway, Extermination's okay. It's an event. I give a lot of leeway to events because they're not meant to be very good. They're just meant to be something that goes on with your characters that you can hang your hat on, if you will. Yeah, this is all right. If you're an X-Men fan and you really want to see these kids get sent back to their own time, this is probably a book for you. For me, I'm gonna keep reading it. It's all right. Silencer number 8 is a DC comic written by Dan Abnett with art this time by Patrick Zircher. This is a story about Honor Guard, who is a former assassin that's been sucked back in because of Talia al Ghul. Recently she has been able to dispatch Talia, basically killing her, but she fears that her body is going to be resurrected because of the Lazarus pits. So Honor takes her family with her to a vacation resort in this issue so that she can go and hunt down that Lazarus pit so that she can prevent Talia from coming back. This is a very good issue. I really liked it. Patrick Zircher is doing some of his best work. Dan Abnett tells a very compelling story. Even though this book is, for the most part, just an action comic book, It's pretty well done. I enjoy the characters. They're pretty well fleshed out, and every issue, even though there have been different artists coming on this book, have been very good. They tell a very compelling story and do a really good job, again, with the action. And yeah, I really like this book a lot. You should check out Silencer. She's going to be in one of those Arrow type programs on the CW soon. And recently she just had an annual come out with Batman in it. She's a big character in DC going forward, and I think it's one that most people should be checking out. The only thing that's weird about this one is the New Age of Heroes is DC's attempt to give artists the spotlight. And on the cover of this book, we've got that Bogdanovich guy's name on the cover, even though he didn't do the interior. So DC, get it right. I only have 4 comics to talk about. I don't even have a 5th. That's what I have to say. Is there anybody out there that's looking for more Donny Cates? Because this week we've got Thanos Legacy #1 coming out. He is going to be writing this story, which is going to be basically bridging the gap from his last issue of Thanos Wins to the Infinity Wars storyline that's going on right now. Actually, Infinity Prime, where we saw a little something happen with Thanos. I don't want to spoil that for you, for anybody that hasn't read that yet. Looking forward to it. Donny Cates writes a really good story, and he writes Thanos very well also. So if you need more Thanos in your life, or you need more Donny Cates, you should check this one out. The Dreaming #1 comes out this week. This is a first series within the new Sandman universe that Neil Gaiman is overseeing. It's going to be written by Cy Spurrier with art by Bilquis Evely. She has really good illustrations. I've seen her work on Wonder Woman. It's pretty darn good. Cy Spurrier is an industry vet. I'm not quite sure what this series is going to totally be about, but basically the dreaming, where all of our creatures that we see and worlds that we see when we're dreaming, there's been a rift that's been opened up, and all sorts of problems, I guess, are going to occur from that. We're going to follow Lucian and a lot of the other characters from within the dreaming. They're going to try and have to solve this situation. Daniel, the new Sandman, is not anywhere to be found. So we're going to have a lot of these dreaming characters running around trying to figure things out. I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like it's going to be pretty interesting, and I'm a big fan of Sandman from way back when, and if you are too, and you haven't had anything like this in a long time, you should be checking this out. Batman #54 comes out this week. It's written by Tom King, and it's going to have a guest artist, one of my favorite artists ever since I was a little kid growing up. Matt Wagner is going to be doing this issue. It is a story about Robin, Dick Grayson, and his former mentor, the Batman, Bruce Wayne, and they're going to have a little story together, you know, a little camaraderie, that kind of stuff. Tom King usually does a lot of talky stuff, and there will probably be a few punching things, but you know, we're going to get to know the characters, and they're going to really get to know each other. It's a shame that Matt Wagner's son didn't get to color like this comic book like he was supposed to. I guess DC editorial didn't like it, since there's this whole father and son kind of story going on. It would have been really nice to see the father and son art team working on this book, but that ain't the way it went. Still, I'm looking forward to Matt Wagner drawing Batman once again. Look forward to this book. You should too. Avengers #7 comes out this week. It's written by Jason Aaron with art by Ed McGuinness. This seems to be a cool down issue after the 6-issue storyline we just read. It's going to feature the Ghost Rider from a million years ago. And yeah, if you're a fan of Ghost Rider, or you want to find out about how it was hanging around all that time ago, along with probably Odin and the Phoenix Force and the other characters you're probably going to check out also in this story. Does that make any sense to anybody? Just pick it up. Avengers has been a pretty darn good series, and the artwork's been excellent. If you like big, cosmic, crazy stuff going on with your superhero characters, don't look any further. As always, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into another episode. What'd you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Hit the bell for notifications so you can find out when we're doing new things, when a new episode comes out, etc., etc., etc. And we'll see you next week.